We are back with NSL talk, and we are back with something that we had already earlier, and we promised we would follow up. We have the participants of the Big Four-Way Indoor Showdown in Finland here with us. Down on the bottom left is Matthew Eel.
Hi, Isles.
Iles, okay, fine. What is it in Finnish?
Iles, yeah, it's.
Okay.
I guess it's English name, so.
Okay, IELTS, you're IELTS. And he's a member of the team Blue Steel. And then on the bottom right, his opponent, Vesa Vuorenkoski, and he is a member of Just for Fun. And we have talked about this, several weeks ago now, before the competition took place. And on the top left, there's again David. Oh, it's a
regular member of this NSL chat, I think.
It seems like I see you every day now.
Every day there is something with the NSL going on, yeah.
Something new.
I should get paid for that.
This time it has nothing to do with Hayabusa. I wish I was paid for that. This time it has nothing to do with Hayabusa though. And nothing with video and so forth. It has to do with the two Finnish teams because you are coaching Just for Fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And Just for Fun, well, let's begin with the participants first. Just for Fun was the winner at the previous meet.
Yes, exactly.
It was close, huh? It was a very tight battle. Huh?
It came very close.
Yeah, so Vesa, tell us, how was it? How did you see, how was the competition for you? You won, but it was tight again.
Yeah, we won Blue Steel again. And this time it was a little bit kind of a bigger gap between two of us. Last time we tied, it was very, very close. And now we had a much more space between us. But of course, in the end, we made so many mistakes that we came quite close, even though. So we had 8 busts, and we came 3 points ahead of them. Yeah. So, but it was a fun meet.
And Matthew will probably interfere. Last time it was 1 point, right? Difference. It was not a tie.
Yeah. It was March. Yeah, early March, 1 point difference.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there was a tie. You were tied indirectly when you were at the Wind Games or something, and Just for Fun, Vesa was competing somewhere else.
Different draw, totally different draw.
Yeah.
Yes. We had at the World Channel League draw, and they had the Wind Games draw.
And this time, so the last time you competed directly at each other was a 1 point difference. Now it was a 3 point difference. So how was it from your perspective, Matthew, the losing perspective?
Always learning. Yeah, it was good meet. Of course, it's quite intense because the rounds are only 15 minutes between rounds. So you just get out of the tunnel, you go quick dirt dive, and then back to the tunnel. So it's quite an intense way of doing it in one evening, but a lot of fun also. So yeah, for us, I mean, I think where we are as a team, we maybe left maximum 5 points on the table. So it's some nervousness on a couple of rounds. Not really. I don't think we got any busts. So I think with a perfect competition, we could have done a couple of points more. But pretty much where we are in our level at the moment. It was a very nice draw. We like the draw. I mean, it was not the fastest, not the slowest, but no funky, big random moves, so no funky kind of combinations. Quite a balanced way of slot switches, and a couple of rounds where you could make a different design, but pretty kind of a average draw, I would say.
And David, you have studied the draw, I'm sure, and you have probably already done your homework because as a coach, I'm sure you have looked at the videos of Just for Fun and have done some debriefing that we will hear now, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I did a YouTube debrief on the 10 rounds for Vesa and his team, and I have to say I was pretty impressed with the technique that they're handling. It's pretty close to what we do, and what I would like them to see do. I think the hardest part is actually to get to the next level, and I explained that in the video as well, that at the moment they're still sometimes struggling with lazy grips, let's say. So the grip management, I'm still like a little bit concerned about that. If that gets fixed, immediately you will see a better result, an even better result. And then the other thing that what I sometimes notice is actually, let's say, the exit of the first formation in the tunnel. That's still a little bit on the slow side, being it because of the tunnel, or being it not completely full ready to attack the jump. But then I think if we can fix both those things, then immediately you will see already another scoring level. So I'm actually looking forward to that. Yeah.
And Matthew is probably listening very carefully, because it's advice that you may carry into your own team. What did your coach, Pete Allen, is working with you, but he's busy, unfortunately. He's in the mountains paragliding or something when we are speaking here now. So he gave you feedback too, I'm sure.
Yeah, so I said, you know, if there's zero bus, it means that you're probably going too slow.
I was wanting to ask.
No, I mean, we need to work with certain entrances still, definitely. There's some blocks that we're still struggling with. We have a different approach than Vesa's team. So I would say that they definitely go faster, but then there's of course more bus included, and I think we are attempting to go a bit cleaner. So we hope it will pay in the end in the nationals in October. So a bit of a different strategy there. So that's the real showdown for us, I guess. Or we can always push it to the next competition, the next national.
Different. Sorry.
Yeah, there was one round where our design was not really the smartest. We were struggling with 15 on the how we designed it, and also 19 is not that fast. But we did a couple of the competition rounds already now in training, and managed to in fact pick up a couple of more points. So I think we're very happy with the development, definitely. And as I said, we haven't been focusing on the actual entrances and the first points. And the Fernie tunnel is a bit more challenging than, for example, tunnel in Empuria, where there's so much more support from the air right from the start. Fernie, you need to really focus on getting the air from the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. So the air is different too. Vesa, you were not in Spain, so you cannot really compare it, right? But can you confirm that the air situation?
Yeah, well, that's definitely something that some teams that are visiting Fernie Tunnel are experiencing. That even though it's a ISG tunnel, they are surprised of the some turbulence over there. So it's a kind of a challenging way to fly the first formations. And what Matthew said about the different styles with Just for Fun and Blue Steel, that's just I think it's a kind of very good way to look at it, the way that the teams are flying. And David gave us feedback for our flying, and he has been giving us feedback in the spring and winter time from Belgium, and we have been very much concentrating on the blocks. So we were very happy that the blocks were more or less where we wanted them to be. But of course, the grip management and random sequences are something that we need to work quite a lot in the future. But this is naturally one step in our plan. And the Finnish nationals will be on October, and I think that's the main goal for us and Blue Steel also.
Is there another meet before October?
Yeah, we just set up a new Finnish Tunnel League meet, and it will be in September, mid-September. It's that 12th Saturday, 12th of September.
Okay.
And we expect quite a lot of teams there.
Yeah, welcome all the teams from Europe.
Yeah.
Please join. Fun
Hey,
afternoon.
Anyway, if I can pick up on this matter, there's also going to be an outdoor four-way meet in Illertisse in the end of August. You're also invited if you like.
Thank you. We think about it.
Yeah.
Back to outdoor competition. Matthew and Vesa, are you missing outdoor competition?
Yeah,
for sure, to some extent, but also not. You know, it's tricky. I think at the moment for me, because there is not enough time for real skydiving, it's, you know, I don't bother starting before I have really time to commit to it. I think, you know, if you can do 10, 20 jumps a summer, it doesn't really pay. And my wife, you know, former skydiver also, I don't think she will let me when the kids are still a bit small. So a couple more years to go, I guess.
yeah.
It's not the first time that we hear such a thing, right? It happens out there. So David, grip management, give us a little more of that. I mean, there are two things that I would like to ask you. One is, they are both talking really about different styles, different approaches. So the coaching must be different too, I have no doubt. So give us a little.
I assume so. I think what I would like them to do is I project my team and my experiences actually, and the things that what I feel I try to give them to other teams. And one of the thing is that I give a lot of, let's say, technical stuff along with them, and we do not focus so much on grip management, but it is super important. The way how you pick up a grip, the way how you present up a grip, how you present a grip is in our sport like very, very important. The only thing is you cannot pay too much attention to it, because otherwise you're a little bit lagging on your technique. This is still a team in the build-up phase, so we are not close. I think it's been now a year and a little bit, like a year and a half, since 2019 Bedford. So the team is still in a build-up phase, so it's normal that they're still making like some mistakes. It's funny to hear that teams someone like once in a while struggle with exits because of like not enough having immediate air to start. But in some tunnels, and I can remember Canada, the World Championship, or Bahrain in the World Cup, yeah, the first 3 seconds, there is no air to move. And you kind of need, as a team, still be able to use it. So you still need to make some points. And eventually we as Hayabusa, we came up with a plan of like, let's just start in very low and then bounce on the net with the full like cover of the body, let's say, and then use that to relaunch our move. Not that we're intentionally jumping on the net, but if we touch the net, then eventually we're not. It will not affect us. So we kind of like had that switch on our mind that even though it's sometimes when it's slow, we still try to make or try to look fast. So that's sometimes the difference between you jump in a tunnel, but you're very scared of trying not to use the net. While in fact, just if it happens on the net, just ride it along, and time like air will come anyway. That's a little bit the experience that I felt in the last few years for myself. And then regarding grip management, yeah, we're still in the learning phase. I need to tell them, and they need to do it. And then when they done it, I see it on the video, and then I tell, hey, well done, we're going in a good direction. But it's impossible to learn everything at once. You need to attack technically first. Let's say you need to do all the blocks 1 to 22 A and B slot, and sometimes some funky stuff. But for me, also what is super important is actually the random stuff. I think there are so many discussions about it, but in the like a decent random jump, 4 randoms, 1 block, 5 randoms, 4 randoms, or 3 randoms and a 5 and a 17, the faster, or a 9, yeah. If you win a round like that, it might happen that your competition is already over, because the rest, yeah, it's done. The other teams cannot follow you. So if you're ready to attack a full random style jump, yeah, that can make your make your competition. And the good thing is sometimes we were talking about it last week as well. I think it's on your chat as well. If you have a full random jump, until that jump has been done, nothing is set in the competition. Mm-hmm. You can start round 1, you can do round 2, you can be ahead, you can be like behind, until you meet that fast jump. Everything will be set afterwards. It will be ready to. It's going to be a totally different meet after that speed phase. Mm-hmm. And it's sometimes very funny to see in how do I explain? It's sometimes very simple. It's hard to explain, but it's sometimes very simple to see how to attack a meet. You attack the first part, you want to be on top, but once the fast jump comes, it can be reshuffled.
Mm-hmm. But that also has to be prepared in training. So is it a fact that Hayabusa has always given faster sequences more attention in training? Because you have to train that. To be good at it, you have to train it.
We liked it from the beginning, from the early beginners, and eventually, how was it possible that we liked it? If I look back in the early tunnel championships, for us they were in Paris, France, and it was actually, it started from a start, and you had 15 points to make as quickly as possible. And I think that's a little bit the DNA that we have in ourselves. We kind of followed up from there. So how fast can we do 15 points in a short amount of time? And eventually we kept on training like that. And that's a little bit what we see now as beneficial for us, I think.
So you set the roots more or less at the beginning of the team career, and so you had that little advantage. So what would be your advice these days to the teams? I mean, what are you telling just for fun? How much of their training
speed phases, for example, is based on, instead of doing 5 randoms at a time, you lower it to 4 or even 3. How fast can you do, let's say, 15 points with 3 randoms in a short amount of time? How fast can you do that? And every once in a while, you add another random. So you start, for example, with 3. How fast can you do 15 points? You start with 4. How fast can you? Then you do 5, and then not even stop there, because the brain needs the overload to be comfortable on what you need to do. Like, for example, you do 6 randoms, you do 7 randoms. So whenever you come back to 5, it feels like, this is easy.
And then grip management becomes even more important, because you don't have a lot of time for taking.
Yeah, you need to feel each other. Right? If you miss the grip, that's already a fumble. That you can never go back to that grip that you just lost. You need to cover it up somewhere in the speed later at the end of your rounds.
I see Vessa's brain working there. So he's already thinking, okay, so fast sequences, training program. Are you making the training program for the team, or is the team doing it by themselves?
No, the team can do it. If they're asked, I can do it, but the team is doing it themselves. Yeah.
Okay, so that's why I'm seeing this. Fast sequence. We can get to this grip management.
It's no secret. Sadly enough, it's no secret. If you are very good in fast sequences.
Yeah, I mean that's a fact. Yeah. So Vessa, what are you doing? Are you fumbling always with your grips, or what's going on there? Is it why is the grip management so bad with just for fun?
Well, we're still in a phase of building the block technique. So we haven't just been concentrating on the random sequences nor the grip management so much. But now we are taking one more big piece in the puzzle, and that's the grip management on the table, and that's next thing that we're gonna attack. So on the next phase, we're gonna kind of more or less not so much concentrate on the block techniques, but just try to achieve the level that we want to be in grip management and the random sequences.
Okay, so let's Matthew, let's give grip management a definition. So what do you have something like more practically? What is it actually? Is it just simply who is presenting and who is taking the grip? Is that all, or is there more behind it?
Are you asking me?
Each of you.
Yeah.
Let's begin with Matthew. We haven't heard from Matthew. Now I wanted to ask you something different. Let's go back to Vesa. So Vesa, what's the definition actually? What you know, for grip management? Is there more behind just who is gripping and who is presenting, or what is it?
It is quite a lot more, of course, and what we are now trying to learn more is first of all who takes whatever grip, and if there's a double grip, and what is the phase of the taking of the grips, and what is the idea of the order in the grips. And secondly, of course, how close the flyer should be on the person that he is taking on the grip. So what is the kind of proximity of the flyers between them? And that is one of the, of course, important things. And then again, of course, the grip itself, that how do you actually present so that the judges will see it? And what is leg, what is arm defined in the, how it is defined in the rules and regulations, and then what is legal and what is not allowed. And that is something we just have to play a little bit more. So we will be presenting the grips and taking them more effectively and try to fly more efficiently in this way.
And David, I'm sure you can feed into that.
I think it's a very nice explanation from Vesa, but the thing that I would like to add is, yeah, if you do not take a grip, you will not make points. If you do not show them, you will not make points. And eventually, it's so widespread. Like, for example, why would we take a wrist grip and not an elbow grip, or why not an upper arm grip? Whenever you take a wrist grip, why do you need to keep it on the same level? Why not? Why is it, for example, not allowed to push it down? The same thing goes, for example, with the legs. If you take a leg grip near to the knee, you're not as steady, or you're not in control of your piece partner than, for example, when you take it as high as possible towards the thigh. So these are all things that you need to feel and also need to understand before you actually go onto full speed. Because once you start doing full speed and you have no control or no knowledge about your grip management, it will become sloppy. And that's sometimes what you see when teams become or try to sprint more quicker than they actually can walk, is then when they become sloppy, it's for the judges, but also for sometimes for the coaches, hard to see what they actually try to show. So you can write almost a separate chapter on what is grip management.
Mm-hmm. So Matthew, is grip management the reason why your team is going so slow? Or just do you give it more attention and that's why it takes more time?
I think we've had that grip management in the discussions from the very start. So when we started in September, and I think we are pretty happy where we are with that at the moment. I would say that's not the weakest point. I mean, we've been doing speed drills and then you know, one block, 3, 4 randoms, and then all randoms. And I think in ASLOS we're pretty confident in our, you know, communication and synchronicity, especially in practice. We've had some like really nice jumps there. Unfortunately, in this meet there was the past round was with the slot switcher, so 5 JOM. Where definitely when you go to the B slots, you know, there's less confidence in the team, you know. So I would say that that's our focus now, is definitely B slots, both for block techniques, but also random B slots, because obviously you will have those types of things. It was okay that round for us, but you know, we if it would have been 6 JOM, I think we would have been able to score definitely more.
It's very funny, Kurt. It's very funny that Matthew says that, because even for myself, we were never. I mean, we loved. I mean, and they still do all the randoms and the fast jumps, but we were always not 100% confident whenever there was a 5 and a 17 coming up. And if you look in the recent years, let's say, every time when we had like a little bit of a glitch in a competition or in a championship, there was always a 5 or a 17 involved. And you can do as a team training 5s and 17s and randoms and 5s and 17s, but eventually when it comes up in the meet, it's still like, yeah, let's hope we can survive this on the speed that is actually needed. So I think you will never feel 100% ready for 5 and 17 in a full random jump.
Yeah, but it's interesting for me, you know, I don't have any problem if 5 or 17 is coming in a block sequence, you know, with 2 other blocks. It doesn't seem to be so difficult, but when it comes together with 3 randoms or so, then
especially when there's something tricky, like when you have to go for a rival 5 and you have to go a different direction into an A or in a K, or then suddenly everything what you learned is a little bit off, and that sets a trigger of making a mistake. And it's not unusual. I think it's very common for everybody to make a mistake. For us, it was, yeah, it happened in 5 and 17s after 3 randoms, or it is. You can train it. We trained it a lot, but still, it came up. So we had to make it. We had to make it right in the other 9 rounds.
Matthew and Vesa, we can just go back to mirror image those sequences.
Yeah.
Right? Why are we not doing that anymore? You know, it's not. It's not a part of.
That's the missing piece, because when in the 90s it was mirror images. When we returned to the tunnel 2016, there was no mirror images. I don't know what happened in between.
Airspeed changed.
Yeah, yes, we changed it, so the whole world changed.
The whole world changed.
I mean, I mean, in all honesty, now, if you think about it, it's a strategy, and you know, the top teams, they should have everything in their repertoire. Yeah. So, man, no, if you know, Hayabusa, if you're always kind of, you know, if you're always getting nervous, and when 5s or 17 are coming, if you're never sure, is it really going to be great? I would
but if you then open like the can with all the difficult transitions, like for example, you do a mirror K and a mirror D to make a normal E, before you know, in a 5 and a 17, you just go back to what works best for your brain. It's not that top teams do not have all the tricky stuff. They do, but it sometimes needs like a very like confident jump to use it. I mean, we had different ones with different piece partner, 18s, different piece partners. It's existing, but it doesn't always come up, and especially not in a 5 or a 17.
Yeah, but the continuity plans in general becoming way more comprehensive anyway. You know, there are more varieties. So the next step is that, you know, including possibly mirror image back in a continuity. Who knows? We don't know. The only thing we know is we used to have it. We don't do it anymore. It's gone now. So that's all we know.
If there is a possibility to use it, they will still use it. There is, especially in the randoms, you see different case. You can see different E's. Mirror E. Who doesn't use that?
Yeah, exactly.
So up, they still use it in 2010. In 2010 at the World Championship, it comes up, but it's just, yeah, you do not want to play with it too much, because then you become on a tricky situation. It's easy to fuck up while somebody else is doing a normal stuff, and then thinking like, oh, we messed it up and we took a risk.
Oh, it's interesting, you know, I'm watching all that carefully, obviously, because, you know, it's interesting to follow that, and there's always an evolution to something. You never really know what the final results will be. I cannot believe that I got my 10-minute warning already. That's crazy. I mean, we just started our conversation.
That's how fast we go, Kurt.
And we had, we covered the debriefing more or less by now, but I think we just stopped with Matthew with a question of the management, the group management, and that they are ready. You know, you have mastered that more or less. So let's leave it there, because if we start another topic like group management, we spent another hour here on, you know, so we can't do that. So let's give us a quick overview what's going on now in the countries, because, you know, it changes all the time now. Finland, we haven't heard in a while. Belgium, Hayabusa had to travel to Germany, but we know now that Belgium is opening, so you will be able to train. How is it in Finland right now?
Yeah, it's really good situation at the moment. We have not a single patient in intensive care at the moment in the whole country. We have 20 patients in hospital care in the whole country.
In the whole country?
In the whole country, yes. So we're really knocking on wood here. Then we had this week 50 new patients diagnosed in the whole country. So it's definitely going away at the moment. People are really going back to old habits at the moment. So you know there is concern, of course, but I think I think we are remote here, and we have our population density is so much less than in Central Europe and the US. So I think it's going to remain good here, and there's so much less travel to do. I mean, that will increase, of course, now. But yeah, so far so good, and
The tunnel is operating and skydiving is going on, so basically you can train as much as you like.
Yeah.
Wow, that's wonderful. I'm so happy for you. Matthew, do you have a vaccination for us yet? I know you were working on a vaccination. You could make a lot of money if you sell it to the US now.
No, it's unfortunately one of our products we tested, or the Chinese started testing. It didn't seem to work, and but there is a lot of stuff ongoing, and a lot of studies at the moment. So every month we learn more, and the whole industry is into this together. So I am very hopeful that by Christmas there will be a couple of vaccines to choose from and a couple of products to use in the intensive care.
You both look very healthy, in fact. So
Dave?
You don't need vaccination.
He knows me.
Yeah.
So Belgium, opening up, good thing to do. Finland seems to be in great shape, while I'm spiking here where I am. So
How is it in Belgium?
If you're allowed to travel, Kurt, come to Europe. Come back to Germany.
That's my daily operation now,
That was smart, huh?
I'm closer than 6 foot now to the screen, so I'm
doing that.
But Dave, can you tell how is it in Belgium?
No, cool. I mean, we haven't trained yet. I think we start training next week. In a few days even. And we will be training with a mouth mask. I think all the time with the same people in the plane, although I think it's not necessary, but just with the mouth mask underneath the helmet and gloves in the plane, and keep your social distancing in the hangar. Stay with your team, and then I think everything will work. I mean, that's talking for my team, of course, but that's a little bit how we will attack the next training camp, because it's gonna be a long one. It's gonna be the guys will go to the wind tunnel Monday, Tuesday, and then we will start training outdoors from Wednesday. So I'm not going to the wind tunnel.
You can't wait to turn your camera back on.
Yeah, because I do not have to go to the wind tunnel, and I do not have to train with rigs.
So some people like to go to the wind tunnel only, and other people don't go to the wind tunnel at all anymore.
Hey, both you guys. There is at the end of August there is an outdoor championship in Germany. You're welcome.
Well, I'm hoping he's inviting the NSL news for that event. The NSL, in the meantime, is planning to do online meets, so we will do that for outdoor skydiving. So that I'll publish that soon. Anyhow, so great. Thank you very much. Happy for the situation in Finland and also for Hayabusa. Great, everybody back in action. And we'll follow up soon again. I guess now we will wait until September, when Just for Fun and Blue Steel will go at each other again. Last test before the national championships. And
groups.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck with everything. Have fun. And
you too. Yeah, stay safe in Florida, man.
Boys, see you soon.
See you. Yeah, bye.
Bye.